Let's bring on Dan Geltrude from Nutley, New Jersey. Dan, okay, they catch a cold, we sneeze, right? So a lot of the things that have been happening over there have been working this way. That's why I brought this one up here today, because she said stagflation is not the base case, and I thought, oh, contraire. What do you think?
Yeah, I think stagflation absolutely has to be part of the discussion. And the missing piece, so you would think of, we'll call the trifecta of inflation, a slow economy, and unemployment, is unemployment. But here's what I'm going to point to. Labor participation in April only at 62.2%. Scott, that is a horrible number. And what does that number mean, by the way? That's the people who are eligible to work, who can work within the age category. Only 62% are working. So to me, that actually is that hidden definition of unemployment. And that's why I think stagflation is absolutely in the cards for the United States.
Okay, so, I mean, this is, I'm a simple guy, right? When I hear we have a GDP of minus 1.4% when we were supposed to have a positive 1.1, I start shutting down little things when I hear the central bankers around the world say, the economy is strong, the economy is forging right along. Because, you know what? That's not strong, if you ask me, number one. Number two, you're exactly right about that participation rate. Number three, are we really taking into consideration what the gig economy is doing out there? We have 4.5 million job leavers every month, it seems like. So we have, I think, systemic problems that they don't know what to do with because we've never really come out of a pandemic before. And that's not really their fault per se, but don't lie to me.
Well, there are some things that can be done, Scott. Listen, this is a tough problem. And, maybe it wouldn't be fair to blame everything on this administration. However, there are certainly things that they could be doing to bring us closer to some real solutions, like when we talk about energy and energy independence, and for whatever reason, we've decided that we're going to rely on others to produce energy for us. I mean, that's a really, really bad decision. The other thing that we have to look at is that when we are pushing this administration, as well as Congress, for higher and higher wages, artificially, by the way, like trying to set or encourage much higher minimum wage, well, let the market work its way out. Right now, you have employers that are competing to get people back to work. That's a good thing. What's a bad thing is that the government paying anyone, and I mean virtually anyone, to stay home and not work. If someone is able-bodied, well, they should show up for work somewhere, even if it's at town hall, to do something for the money that they're receiving. These are little things and some big things that we can be doing to get ourselves back on track.
You're right. And the first thing I'll agree with you on, and we beat it to death here too, is like, energy is 60 to 70% of our inflation problem. We solve the energy issue, we're going to solve our inflation issue, right? But that's not going to be the case. No matter what we say here is not going to change the administration's mind. That's something that bothers me. But number two is that, okay, well, there's another thing you can do. You can stop spending money, right? You can stop. And this whole idea of the student loan debt being forgiven, of $1.6 trillion, Dan, now correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just like, if they're not paying the government that $1.6 trillion, they're going to be dumping that back in the economy. So that's just like passing another bill of $1.6 trillion on top of an already inflammatory inflation situation, correct?
Yes, Scott, listen, someone is going to pay for that $1.6 trillion. I don't care what they say about it's paid for, it's free, or any other thing. You are simply shifting debt to other taxpayers. That's all we're talking about. Whether you're going to increase taxes, or whether the government is going to take on more debt, or whether you're going to just print more money and have inflation flare up. Either way, that whole concept is not free. Nothing is free. So to your point, we start spending less, well, that's when we start to get our fiscal house in order. But there's literally no sign of that. And I also have to say, that's not just the Democrats. The Republicans have done a heck of a job spending money we don't have as well.
You're exactly right. And that's the problem. It's unelectable. We're not going to have anybody go there because you'll never get elected again if you say we're going to stop spending money, right? Because that's one of the big ones. And so if we're not going to solve our energy problem and we're not going to stop spending money, this inflation thing is going to be here for a while, I think. So I really appreciate you being on. Thank you very much, Dan. That's awesome stuff. It's always often. Well, I'd love to start my Mondays off with Dan Geltrude, America's accountant. Thanks for coming on. All right.